Find reality fast and deal with it. Recently, a Vistage chair in the US, when asked about how to deal with change, tariffs, what's going on in the world, his answer, find reality fast and deal with it. And I just wanted to reflect on the importance of seeing reality as it is, getting data that tells you where you are. A map is not very much use if you don't know where you are on the map. And your life, any plan for the future, if you don't know where you are really today, it's a real challenge to use the map, to use the plan. You got to know where you are and have data on where you are and whether you're making progress. And there's a book, Leadership and Self-Deception by the Arbinger Institute. And it's very powerful on this idea that the person we are most capable of deluding about where we really are, how we're really behaving, who is causing the challenges that we have around us, ourself. Leadership and self-deception. And there's a couple of stories that for me bring to my mind the importance of this ability. One, I remember many years ago on the Tim Ferriss podcast, Josh Weinstein, a grandmaster, he was one of the youngest grandmasters of chess in the US, and then he went on to be a kickboxing world champion. And he said what he learned was how to learn. And in chess, one of the things that struck him is that there's a moment where he knows he's probably going to win. And this moment is where he makes a move and the opponent suddenly realizes the game's not as good. He doesn't have the advantage of what he remembers. And the opponent, instead of taking a good move based on the new reality of the understanding of who's dominant in this chess game, if you go in chess from feeling like you're slightly winning to, maybe I'm slightly losing, your next move emotionally needs to get back to better than you believed you were, not compared to the reality on the board. And Josh, what he says is this is extremely dangerous. When suddenly you notice emotionally, maybe I'm not in as strong a position as I'd imagined, this is when you're very dangerous. Your next move, your next action is not going to move forward from where you are. It's going to attempt to get you back where you believed you used to be. And I remember Joseph Akram, a very inspiring sportsman that I know from Barcelona. And he is a sportsman and a day trader. And has worked very hard to understand the markets and be able to invest. And I talked to Joseph many years ago about day trading and the mental side of it. And there was one day in his time as a trader where in one day he lost a huge amount of money. It was the worst day ever. And at the end of the day, he closed out of his positions and he knew that he needed to mentally deal with it before the next morning. That the next morning he could not come in trying to undo the losses in one day. That he needed to be able to emotionally clear this out and go back to starting again from where he was. And that the next day, instead of trying to, regain the position where you were 24 hours ago, is you start again from where you are, making the little decisions, the little moves that steadily build the wealth. But it's so difficult for us humans, emotional creatures, to let go of where we believe we should be or we believe we are and confront reality, confront where we really are. So this concept of self-deception, self-delusion, it's so important to have data that tells you whether you really are where you believe you are. For me, writing, putting pen to paper, putting words onto a page. For many years here at IESE Business School, I was asked by my mentor to write, to publish. And for 4 years, I felt like I was writing. I was putting energy towards writing. And after 4 years of not really completing anything, I hired a coach, a writing coach. And I paid significant money to speak to him once a week. And basically, he asked me one question for 52 weeks through the whole year. The first question, how many words did you write this week? And it probably took me a few of these weekly calls before I stopped excusing, stopped giving all the reasons why this week was different, and started focusing on the number and started working with him on what needed to happen so that each day, instead of thinking about producing words, instead of imagining I'm producing words, I produce words. And once you start to measure, the first shocking thing is how poorly disciplined we are when we don't measure. The second is you start to learn a lot about yourself, about what's needed to sit yourself down and make progress. And very often these ideas, we're so ambitious in making huge steps that we don't realize that all huge journeys are 1,000 little steps. And the only way to publish a book is many, many little steps of writing some words, improving those words, fitting it in together. And even when you've written and published a book, there's a whole adventure of what it takes to let people know that this book exists and how it can positively affect their lives. So reflection here: find reality, accept it and deal with it. Get data about where you really are. When you speak to people, get data on what's really happening. It's very easy to delude ourselves and live where we don't really know where we are on the map. And when you don't really know where you are on the map, no plan, no map, no compass can help. So find reality and get to grips with dealing with it. I think Jim Collins calls it confront the brutal facts. And he says when he brings a group of leaders from a company in, the first thing that he wants to do, day one, minute one, is put the scary, ugly, brutal facts that we must confront in front of us. And I know emotionally I'd rather look at the good stuff, but if I really am intending that the person I am a year from now, 10 years from now, 30 years from now is grateful for who I am today, I need to put the emotions that I want to feel to one side and confront the brutal facts of where I am in health, where I am in finances, where I am in relations, where I am in the skills that matter, where I am in terms of clarifying what it is that I want to be dedicating my time, energy, resources to for the next day, week, month, year. Confront reality, face reality, and deal with it. Have a good one. Thank you for your likes, your comments, your shares. It motivates me to confront reality, to stop, to think. And I love it when you subscribe. It may not make a huge difference to you, but to me, the small little motivator of seeing that number of subscribers climbing really helps. So thank you for watching, for subscribing, and for sharing these videos. Have a good one.